comes alive. It's nice and quiet.
Welcome back, viewers, to Heat 3 of the Club Championship here at the mighty Manly 16-foot Skiff Club in their 100th year. It's not much breeze today. We've got a light little east, nor'east, back to the east-southeast occasionally coming in. We're just down with the start boat just off Middlehead, between Middlehead and Grotto Point, just going into the mouth of Middle Harbour. Today I've got in commentary with me, welcome back, Paul Mackenzie, Sausage. Welcome back, brother.
Hey, Jimmy.
And joining us today, very special guest, a big S, Stevie Bowen, Vice President of Manly 16-foot Skiff Club, key integral sponsor of the Sutec Building Consultant 16-foot Skiff. Still dabbling, I see, last week in 16-foot skiff sailing yourself, S?
As little as possible, Jimmy.
How long did it take you to recover, mate?
I think about Tuesday I came good.
Yep.
I don't think I'm built for it anymore. Too much sailing out there previously.
Yep.
But it was enjoyable with Georgia and Harry. It was a nice day out there. Glad for only the one race.
Yes.
We had a few ginger beers before we started the race. We lost one. I had to go in for it. So we recovered it and made sure we were fully hydrated before we started.
The only way to do it. Well done. How your sailing career has changed.
Yeah, as it does.
So, as you guys know, both these boys sailed with Ruffy on the Sutec back in the day. Ruffy's now at Moon and Yachts. Ruffy wanted me to hit you up, Steve. When is he able to put in a sponsorship proposal to come back to the fold?
Who, Ruffy?
Yeah.
No chance.
No, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, he's really fallen away. I mean, obviously they fell away when I left, and then it only got worse after that.
Isn't it good when he's not here to defend himself?
Well, I was talking about Paul then.
I knew it was about me.
We all need to get to that.
Yeah, when I jumped off, it seemed to go a bit quicker.
Well, that was just the story of the Sutec, wasn't it, Paulie?
Yeah, look, we've got the new boys out here now. We've had them in the gym. They've been working out.
Yeah, they got a gym sponsor as well on the Sutec this year.
Yeah, we've lined them up. I've seen them down there occasionally.
Yep.
Which is good to see. Just now we need to see some results. So
We've got to see them out in the water first. Haven't been out for a couple of weeks.
No, they've missed a couple of weeks. I think they were at Bathurst last weekend and the snow before that. So I don't think the sailing's high on their priority list, but hopefully today.
All right, and that being said, there's one of the 13s, Little Bartley Constructions. They're sailing with Middle Harbour Skiff Club today. They've got a combined fleet with them and a few 29ers joining them, which is great for all the young guys coming through to try and build the fleet, which is, I think, is a fabulous thing. The little partnership they got going on there between Manly and Middle Harbour with the 13 fleet. We might have a bit of a look back at Club Championship Heat 1 and 2. 2 was abandoned, but we'll have a bit of a look back at how that all went and refresh everyone's memory.
5, 4, 3.
Please start.
Look at that.
Oh, Mooney!
Oh, yes! Oh, no!
Oh, Matt, stand up.
Hey,
He's not going to get into this.
I'm glad we got that on film.
The little rock star that only wants to sail a few races.
Oh,
Gets him down.
You see the outback marines on in plenty there as well. Moment we're on the access capsizing on top of the Typhoon.
Oh, and the Typhoon.
They're all in.
Here come my young Sutec boy. He's left of screen.
Big no. There's Imey. Imey's gone in.
Sorry, I'm
Imey's
screwed,
gone in.
yeah.
There's another one. The red pups screaming into this bottom run.
Get some of your best rides into Wesley when it goes right. Roundup coming up for the Imey.
Yeah, Typhoon's round, followed by the Imey. Right behind them, Employment Heroes coming in.
Will Devola.
They're going to get there. Are they going to get there? Oh, I think,
I think
Employment Hero.
Employment Heroes in the clear.
Employment
Heroes around. playing the fire, have learned from the previous 2 weeks, are upright and rumbling. Well done, boys.
I think the rooster only knows one way, doesn't he? Full speed.
Mooner just on screen, here he goes through his jibe, and he's gone as well. Right, so now this is getting interesting. Who is upright?
Red bumps are in second. Let's see how they go here. Dodging the minefield. So we're following down Mooner with the drone here. Here to see Gus earn his money.
Mooner going for a shoot.
Yeah, they had Matty in there, so they just need to get the shoot to get down to the finish, I think.
There's the red pumps, red on screen, chasing him down, and I think that might have made him a little nervous. First blood to Moon and Yachts. And welcome back. So the Wild Westerly from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Paul. Was, you're out here with me and Fast Eddie.
It was a bit of carnage, as we just saw in the highlights package.
Plenty of carnage. I don't think we can promise the same with today's breeze that we got at the moment.
It's a lot softer today. Going to be a little bit flicking around a little bit between east and the southeast, we think, or even a bit north. We never know with these kind of breezes. But yeah, it should be a bit easier to follow as someone watching on at home. I think I remember losing the leader for a whole lap last week.
Yeah, we all did. We're all guilty of that. It was they bolted.
Yeah. It should be a bit more sedate today, but maybe a bit tighter racing, which should be good to see.
Yeah, and as you've seen, first blood to Moon and Yachts, Ruffy Turner. So we'll have a look at the point score in a sec. But there you go on screen now, and you got Red Pumps Red, which is quite a story in itself. That's little Tyler Dransfield, a young bloke steering that. He's got Chris Williams, and he's got a pretty handy for it out in Jackson Cranfield. But it's really good to see a young bloke stepping up into a 16. Came from 29ers and taking it on in 25 knots. It was pretty impressive to see. And third, you got Imey with young Dan Links steering that, another young guy. So it's great to see some of the young guys getting in there and taking over from us older blokes.
Where's Dan from?
Dan's 29er background again, right, from RPA, Royal Prince Alfred up there at Pittwater. And he's obviously Trent and Links Effect. They sailed together in the 18s back in the day, and obviously all still mingle in the same circles. But it's great to have another great name in the team. And there's Cunningham's, you can see just in front of Typhoon, with Nick Connor, Alex Chittenden and Michael Childs just on screen, just trying to figure out what to do with Typhoon, with a few guests on board there today, with Pagey over in, I think he said Israel, didn't he? Yeah, in Israel with the 470s. But so who's
Wilmot's on?
Yeah, Wilmot's on, Otto Henry and Simon Hoffman, a couple of 49er guys. So they've got a decent little pool of people to call upon this year, which is good to see. Lisa Bates getting out there with Craig still out injured.
Is he going to get a run? Will they let him back?
Mate, he's going to have to go and order a new boat is what's going to have to happen. He's not going to get back on that one anytime soon.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Nathan goes. He's fairly dominant sailing last week.
Yeah.
With the mixing crew.
Yeah, having Pagey with him, it's like back when you were sailing with your brother, it's like, you just do it blindfolded, yeah. You're not really communicating, you just know what that grunt means or whatever, and you know what's going to happen next. So, and then, young Simon Hoffman jumping in the middle will obviously, with Pagey with his role at Australian Sailing, they probably all talk the same language.
Nice to see some high calibre sailors out there.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and I thought when Craig was telling me about the wonderful idea that he had over a few beers with Nathan, I thought, we'll wait and see how this unfolds, and it did unfold, which was good.
They're going to get Craig on to build the handicap soon, or what, before the Nationals?
They're going to have to, aren't they? And there's contemporary pools, the twins, Andrew and Matty, and good old Andrew St John in the middle.
Oh,
he's having the day off, isn't he?
Is he?
Saint's off.
He's off? Who's on?
Saint told me that he's stepped off because we gave him too much grief last time.
I thought he had thicker skin than that.
Camera shy.
And there's the Musto, Hugh Stoddard, Jamie Stoddard and Neil. New to the 16s this year.
How have they been going?
Going quick and imploding quickly, as we all did when we first got into 16s. They're a different beast. Yeah, it's definitely Hugh. I seen him dropping the trailer off last night.
Oh, here they go.
Something's not right. What's wrong up the rig?
Not a good start to the day.
Water temperature's around 17 degrees today, so be nice.
Put the hay inside the rubber.
Yeah, inside the bungee, you think?
I'd say so.
That's where they're at, isn't it? Right at the
house.
top hands.
How'd you used to get that out, Steve? You wouldn't climb up the rig, would you?
Just break it. And don't tell anyone. Geez, that...
They got it up pretty quick though. They sorted it out nice and fast.
Yeah. One thing I did notice on the Musto though, it was obviously a Van Munster boat with a spinnaker chute. I believe that's where it was. And then it's they've gone to a conventional spinnaker bag in the boat.
It's interesting.
Well, I think it's always better, isn't it? I mean, you're going to save a lot more kites over the season.
Yeah.
The red pumps, I was talking to them around on the rigging park the other day about it, and they seem to love having the chute.
Yep. What's we got there? There's Botany Access just heading into towards the rocks with Employment Hero. I'm not sure who's steering that because I think young Will DeVola is actually overseas doing something with drifting, car drifting. Yeah, over in America, I believe. Dolly, if you're listening, let us know. But just seeing on the back of the start boat, we can get out of everyone's hair here. They're on a W5, so it's a pretty long course. And that's Red Pumps Red there. Young Tyler, Chris and Jackson.
Lightweights?
I think Chris brings the power to the program.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
So we're on 085 bearing to the top mark, so
They must
just a little bit we're going east basically.
must have a secret formula with a heavy sheet hand.
Well, it didn't work for you.
They should get a third boat.
There's the other Red Pumps just coming into stream with Bruce and...
Yeah, I'll find a boat with an old forward hand soon.
Do they exist?
So yeah, Red Pumps not red. Both of them on screen here, easily confused. It's the little red dot at the back of the Red Pumps red lets us know that it's them. And they've also got different spinnakers that still look very much the same, which makes it very difficult for us in here.
Capital Brewing, one of our female skippers, young Jessica Rolls, does an amazing job. Sails with her brother and Ed Rigby. And Steve-O, while we got you were hugely involved from the start to the finish of the rebuild of St George 16-foot Skiff Club. How's it all going? It's an absolute credit to you and Ant for the amount of effort that you guys put in. All voluntary, of course, and it was amazing. Like, the club is amazing. I've been down there several times and love the place. But when are we getting one at Manly?
Well, that's the big question. I've been arguing with Ant about that one.
Yeah.
The club, look, it's been an immense effort. I think really we're going back to about 2014, we started this process, or possibly even earlier. We had a moment there, or a couple of years, with Daltone House and possible partnership there. I think through the successes of Manly and the renovations we did down there, we got ourselves in a position we could do it ourselves. And then we went forward from there. So there's been a fair few hair-raising times along the way. We've had finances, we've had COVID. We've had a whole range of things being thrown at us, but we had an excellent build-up. We've got excellent management as well in Matt Hazel. and John as well down there, and also from the kitchen and Justin. So it's been a real team effort in bringing this whole thing together, and everyone should certainly be proud of it. I think even the other day, Justin went down there, who's the sponsor of Botany Access, and he said he was down there on a Wednesday, and he said there was 300 people or something in there for lunch. So it certainly shows the success of the place, and hopefully we make the money and we can continue to grow the class.
Absolutely. We have one of the veterans, shall we call it, Altus on screen, Phil Cook.
He'll go well today.
With hasn't got the Gruder brothers. He's got Kenny Walk in the middle. I've just seen with Davey Gruder up there.
No.
On screen now, we've also got the world's oldest moth sailor, Peter Moore. Still out there at 75, 76, I think, giving it a red hot go. Still modifying and building his own boats. The bloke's pretty amazing.
Not long from starting signals.
So what are we thinking, boys? Who are we thinking around the top mark?
First top mark.
First top mark.
I think I got a good feeling about the sail racing boys today. They've just come back. They took it pretty easy last year, but if they click back into gear, this is their kind of conditions. They get on the wire, two-stringing a bit earlier than everybody else, and really go through the water well.
They got their regular crew on board?
I think so. You know, Tom Potter's a big.
What about that bloke on screen now, Shebang? How do you reckon that bloke will go?
Look, he'll have a good start. You know that much.
He's the best sheet hand steering in the fleet, that's for sure.
They don't have too much weight on board, so look, he'll be up there. I don't know about first, but certainly he'll be competitive. Phil Cook, if he gets a good start, he'll probably be going for a port hander or something, if the line's slightly biased.
Yeah.
If so, you could see him up the front.
It's.
I mean, Nathan, we can never dismiss. Nathan will be definitely in the hunt there. It's just where they can gel and bring themselves together. I'm sure he'll get a good start too.
From our time sailing with Ruffy ourselves, I know that this is his least favourite breeze possible. Anything with east in it, or coming out of the east, he just sort of pulls his hair out all morning. Gets a little bit stressed out, so, you know, see if he can pull it together and go through. I know he's missing Matty on board today. I think
At the Toll Islands race last night, so he's part of the Andu Comanche program. So
yeah, so they'll have Kurt jumping back in. He's done a lot of sailing with him. They don't lose much there. But yeah,
the replacement on the fire stopping there today on the sheet, you got Pete Warner who's jumped in to help out. Lockie's long gone over to do some regatta overseas. In Monte Carlo, he was worrying about whether his suit jacket would do up because you've got to wear a suit and tie to get into the club. So bad luck, Lockie. You can't comment back either. So there you go. We're over the pin, looking back towards the start boat. So it's middle head in the background. It's the Navy base just there, and Balmoral just to the right of screen.
I mean, this would be the time right about now where you'd be calling the end of the line for us, wouldn't you, Paul? If we were out there, yeah.
I wasn't.
2 minutes 30 to go.
I wasn't allowed.
Giving you wisdom.
Oh, you know me, Steve. I give it 5 minutes after it's happened.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
Hindsight sailor.
Maybe just a little bit. But as you look across this line, it's a bit of a tricky one. The pin looks a little bit high to me up there. However, we've got a bit of tide running through this thing as well, so it's just going to make it a little bit more difficult than what we originally thought.
Yeah, tide running out, so...
And as you look up the course, it does look like there is a little bit more pressure in the right, where it's funneling through the heads, so, you know, it'd be very easy to get stuck in that left-hand corner, I reckon.
Pin's probably not the go.
No.
There's a lot of waves there off Washaway too, isn't there? So a fair bit of swell.
I'm putting it... If I was a betting man today, Phil Cook is doing a port tacker in this line.
Too far on the left and you'd be out of the tide too, so...
You want to be in the tide.
You want to be in the tide, you want to be in the right.
Well done, Polly. Another box tick.
I learned something in the 7 years, Steve.
So I just noticed on IME you got Sean Connors jumped in to replace Treno. Treno's away. So, that's, no great loss.
No.
It's, They won't need as many repairs with Sean on there, but they're definitely lacking no ability there. Sean's one of our
He's been doing a
top
lot of
49er guys.
Yeah.
So, coming up to a minute. Everyone's all down this boat end.
They're all conscious of the tide. They're all a fair way back. We're calling general recall, Paulie. What do you think?
Not sure.
Suddenly's going to get himself into trouble here.
Picking a bit of carnage off the back end of this boat. Just off screen to the left, there's a few people making each other spin around, but
AP. Just trying to listen into the start boat.
Let's go for a little run. Just quick off the line.
So the start boats just put up an AP flag just before the start, so we're under postponement currently. So we're not quite sure why they've done it just at the moment, but I'm assuming they're going to be relaying a couple of marks or pulling the pin back possibly, or, you know, they'll have a good reason for it.
Okay, I just heard from the start boat, they just AP'd because the breeze kept going right, so there you go, Paul, you 2 out of 2 today.
It's the first time for every.
You're on a roll, keep it up.
If only I could do it at work.
The pressure of Steve-O.
If only you perform like that at work, huh?
Yeah, well, that's another battle for you, Steve.
Steve couldn't get enough of me sailing with him. A year apart, and then he made me come and work for him as well, you know.
I saw some potential somewhere else.
And they weren't available.
But we've had a lot of fun, haven't we, Paul?
Yeah, it's been good fun.
Lots of races. Enjoying sailing with Ruffy.
Yeah, it's a good bloke to sail with, Ruffy. Good, keeps the boat nice and always perfect. If it wasn't perfect, he always heard about it from Steve. But no, it was good fun. I think it was 6 or 7 years of us sailing together. We had some good results, almost results.
Yeah.
But it was always good fun.
I think winning, we won a couple of Botany Bay championships there at the end.
Yeah.
Which had always eluded me. I'd never been able to get one with Clinton Ant previously, so to win not 1 but 2 was pretty satisfying actually. And to do it with you boys too.
Yeah. The second one was one of the best races we sailed ever. I think it was a 10-minute win or something like that, and a smoking 25-knot nor'easter down the river. It's always good fun.
We must have been away that day.
Oh, I think you retired to let us win one, Jimmy.
There's the Sutek on screen, the mighty Sutek.
Oh, here they are.
So
Go you boys.
So I think they're still recovering from Bathurst last week. Saw them plonking around in gumboots all over social media, having a good time. Just making sure that everybody can see the sponsor on the boat.
Okay, they're dropping the AP in 30 seconds. Thank you.
So Nick on Cunningham's sailed with his brother, who's on the Irony for quite a while together. So I think there'll be a bit of a battle between those guys today. Nick's also one that likes to jag a good result in these kind of weathers. So
They come together, that team, at the beginning of this season. They've become a great team. So
the Cunningham boys,
yeah, like straight out of the box. So 6 minutes.
because it's all Nick with new sheet hand and forward hand, isn't it? It's Chits and one of the
Michael Childs.
Michael Childs, yeah.
One of the other directors of the club.
Doing an excellent job.
Yep.
Mikey's got his usual stance there at the back of the boat. One leg cocked.
Pretending to know what he's looking at.
We all do that.
And on the fireball, just went in between us. I think that's Noel Powers steering that today.
No power.
Young Noel used to have the Employment Hero 13.
They did quite well, didn't they, on that?
Mate, he did very well. He's he's a great junior coach. Like we had him here at Manly, and then he's shifted off. I think he's now down at Royal Prince Alfred. They made him a deal that he couldn't refuse.
Him and Jolly put quite a good team together there, didn't they? And it was sort of part of that base success as well that sort of followed through in those juniors for the last couple of years.
Yeah, the recipe's definitely right for us at Manly to get the kids through and successful. And I know every club has their own ways of doing it, but we know what worked for us, and that's what we keep at it. The other one of interest today for the viewers at home is Outback Marine, powered by Victron, is the three Clancy girls sailing together. So you got Georgia steering, Lana up the bow, and Maddie Clancy making a debut on the sheet.
I would pick Maddie to not be on the sheet.
How would you organise that crew, Paul, since you know them best?
I've spent a bit of time in a boat with Georgia and Alana. I'd actually be putting Maddie on the stick. She's quite good at steering. And not to take it away from Maddie, but I think the other two are quite good crews in their own right. And they're just sort of...
There they are on screen, the girls.
Let's see if we can figure it out.
George is down the back, it looks like.
Georgia is.
Errol died with the tiller.
If the breeze dies off, that certainly
there's not
they'll be quick through the water. There's not much weight on board.
Yeah. And I was totally wrong with what I said by the looks of it.
G'day to Stewie Graham if you're watching. Stewie, ex-bowman from the Typhoon era, and sailed with, who else did he sail with? Beaky on the Global Storage.
Global Self Storage.
Yeah, g'day Stewie. Hope you and Lorraine are well up there at the Goldie. And if you need any marine stuff or marine electronic stuff done.
Certainly a proud member of the Foreign Hands Union, Stewie.
I think, he was a very strong card-carrying member.
Never quite understood that union.
They don't understand. They don't understand themselves anyway, Paul. So don't worry about it. We've got just a bit over 2 minutes 45 to go to a start. You still liking the ride here, Paul?
Well, just the amount it's flicking around. If they've just picked up, it's gone right. You'd probably find it's going to go back left soon.
Yep.
It's just got that sort of feel about it, where it's not going to be stable. I'm still a bit wary of the left though. I don't know. Just feel like you just sort of looks like you could get a bit bogged down over there. So stay out this side and see if you can get some tide to shoot you up towards the top marks.
Yeah, you want a bit of tidal influence.
But I mean, with the tide comes a little bit of lump, so got to keep the boat going quick through the water and that stuff. So we'll just see how everybody goes.
Are the Middle Hobarts racing now? They look like it, don't they?
Yeah, Middle Harbour's already started, so they're a long way up the course. It's not on the screen.
The guys on the left don't look too favourable at the moment.
No. So that's where the fire stopping will head.
Did you give them that advice, did you?
Mate, I gave him one simple chat the other day. I said, you got an Olympic gold medalist out there, let him do the tactics for you, just follow him until you work it out from there. So, young Alex is super keen, lovely kid, lovely family. His sister's sailing a 13 this year. She's on the botany scaffold, so with Bella Devola. So, just sort of got that boat back, and we just doing a bit of a mentoring thing with them, just trying to get them to do everything themselves.
They are. They gave me a call during the week. Asked me first of all to sail today. However, I had other commitments when I looked at the forecast. But I'm actually jumping on next week with them, so it should be a bit interesting.
Mate,
for me, I've had a bit of time off, but I'm really looking forward to it.
1 minute to go.
For once, I won't be staring at the back of that red boat, so I'll be pretty happy.
You just got to get up the front, Paulie. No pressure.
You've all going down the pin end now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Moonan, Sutek, 5 all.
Where's Nathan?
Red pumps. Nathan's just behind the camera boat. He's buried under Botany Access and Typhoon.
So
just to the left of the screen at the moment.
Yeah, just to the left, it looks like Cunningham's just positioned themselves well for the boat, with Botany trying to squeeze them out. just behind them is Nathan.
15 seconds.
Tech looks like you're going to be closest to pin.
They're all racing down on that pin now, aren't they?
Timing doesn't look too bad. Pressure of having the sponsor
3,
out here.
2, 1.
So it seems the two sponsored boats out here didn't listen to the advice from the sponsors, which was try and stay near the Olympic gold medalist. And have all run down to the pin into the left.
Well, there's no point in being out here if you're not under pressure.
Felix has got a little bit of room there to run away if he need be, so he's in a nice position.
Yeah, I like Felix's position here on the sail racing.
Driving the boat up. The boats down the pin end to freed the boats up, and they're trying to run away and get some clear air.
So on screen at the moment, we've got the boats that came off the boat. So they're all sort of in a bit of a pinching mode, trying to squeeze each other out, with a couple of them trying to live. And, you know, we can just see Imey having to bail out and Cunningham's.
There's always a tendency in this breeze to sort of work back towards middle head and then take a long one across the Flagstaff. You'll find the later laps they'll all start doing the same, similar sorts of things.
Well, it compresses on the headland, doesn't it? So, you know, you feel like you're coming into plenty more pressure. It's just the angles that you got to try and work the tide there.
Ruffy's coming back.
So Ruffy on the moon and heading back. He's taken the sterns of all the guys that came off the boat. But, just with everybody else. So we've got about 3 or 4 boats out in the right that have all flicked back on middle head. And then everybody else taking the long board out to the left at the moment.
What do you think?
There's the Olympic gold medalist in the bottom left-hand corner of that shot there.
Ruffy's back again.
I don't see fire stopping anywhere around him. So
Fire stopping's doing all right, Jimmy. Just having a look out the window. They're sort of leading the left group over there.
yeah, well, Pete's on board, bit of an older head and a bit wiser. You know, Lockie's been away for a little bit, so it's been a bit of a challenge to find decent guys who can still jump in there. I'm too broken to jump into the skiffs these days, so
on screen we've just seen a few gains be made by Moonen in this right-hand corner. With Star Racing who are leading the pack off the boat, just having to take their stern. However, as we sort of alluded to, this right-hand side's looking quite nice, so we'll just see how they all go over there.
Surtek's coming back then, he's gone back again. He was coming back on port, he was coming right back through the whole fleet there, so give it
Star Racing's getting they're well the most right boat here now, as we're following them out here on port tack.
a bit of pressure out here too.
Yeah, there just seems to be a little bit funneling through the heads. Yeah, you'd say that they're the only boat that's 2-string across the course at the moment, wouldn't you? So when they come into these rocks on the right hand side here, you also get the little bit of an added advantage of a bit of a backwash as you come out. So it can just shoot you back across the course and you get a few runners under you, which can just help you keep the nose up a little bit higher.
I think I'd be a lot more comfortable in the right at the moment than in the left.
So we just flicked over to these boats over the left hand side on screen. It's I'm just trying to make out that first boat that's leading me left with Altus, which is, as Steve predicted, is it it's fluid, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fluid leading the boats left with the 2 red pumps in hot pursuit by the looks of it.
Clint's never really enjoyed an easterly.
Loves an easterly.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting one when they come back together, because it looks like the boats that went a little bit further right just seem to be falling into the boats on the left. We'll just see.
Yeah,
So
you can sometimes slot into a bit of tide coming back out of there and then lift out significantly, so we'll know in about a minute or two.
Well, we could also be getting a bit of pressure just funneling out from down towards the Skiff Club as well, coming out of the Manly Bay. Sometimes you get a bit of a left-hander, but it's very localised off the point there. So we got.
So there's the Commodore there on Southerly with the big S on the sail. Is that just in love of you, is it S?
I don't think so. He put us in the piss last weekend, actually. A lovely Port Hannah straight in front of us. And
So you're on
we went for a
speaking
swim.
terms?
Oh, absolutely. A few beers afterwards and everything was forgiven.
Always the way.
Which red pumps is that coming back towards us?
It's the young red. No, that's Bruce, isn't it? That's the red pumps.
I think that's Bruce
Bruce. Yeah.
being red pumps with Greg and young Jay Harris, old man Jay Harris.
You've done quite well over in the left.
They have now, yeah. They seem to have dropped away over here in the right.
Yeah, they just all look like they were folding down into them. Which is,
Yep, that is the red pumps with Typhoon behind them.
Typhoon and Musto just trying to keep his bow forward on Typhoon there.
You'd probably think about taking back, wouldn't you, if the red pumps now? You've sort of got the fleet fairly boxed out.
Especially when you've made a couple of gains over in the left yourself, you'd be.
Hedge your bets.
It's your manoeuvre, isn't it, Steve? Get in front, stay between them and the next mark.
That's it. Keep it simple.
Oh,
Mine was really just be first around the top mark and stay there.
I was trying to remember it. Be first around the first mark and don't let anyone pass you.
Between you and Robbie Napper, it was very animated.
So
do you dare call something here, Paul? What do you think?
no, I'm trying to.
It's pretty fickle, isn't it?
Yeah, Jimmy's call of me getting too right early on seems to be very far off. So I might just stay quiet for the next little bit. Just wait and see how I go.
When we do the 18s, Shippo always gets me and Bucko to pick, where we want to go, and then he tells you at the top mark, and it's like, well, hold on, like, fair go.
So it's interesting as we look at, we've sort of got the red pumps red here, which are now extending out on port tack to the right hand side. I'd say that'd be the most southerly boat in the fleet at the moment, with the fire stopping behind them.
Well, they've been out training, like both red pumps have been out training probably the most out of everyone at the moment. So, it's great to see. As you guys know, you don't win nationals. Well, you do if you're Nathan Wilmot, but you got to get out there, go training.
I wouldn't know what it's like to win a national title, Jimmy, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry, I was talking to Steve. Sorry, Paul, I forgot.
And hence I can't sail anymore.
There's one of the Middle Harbour boats just on screen. There's another one. That's the Middle Harbour fleet. They're literally overlapping fleets today, so we'll get a bit confused. It's the brand sense from Middle Harbour. Our blokes are all over to the, keep coming around. Over to the left, that's us. Typhoon. Gone the helter skelter. Exactly what you said to do, wasn't it, Paul? Go hard left?
Yeah, just one tack.
Follow the gold medalist.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, have a look at where they are, even though they're not on the screen. Have a look at where fire stopping is over here. You know what I mean? I think I've got to introduce Alex to Nathan just so there's any fear or something.
Just always remind Alex too, if Lee's out here as well, you've got another one that you can watch too.
Yes.
So
Nathan's definitely dominating, isn't he?
Nathan's done well out of this. Red Pumps, who led that left group.
We've got Moon and Yachts there, which is Ruffy, and he's just tacked back.
Both of you guys obviously sail with Ruffy. Where's Ruffy's head at right now in this race? Like, is he generally calm? Or, I know, Steve, like the few times you sailed with us, you're always the calming influence for when you jumped on the fire stopping a few times. But
I'm generally not when I'm sailing with my own boys, though. I think Ruffy here, he wouldn't be saying too much. He never does.
Ruffy.
Gus is an excellent sheet hand. There'll be plenty of information, plenty of feedback getting back to Ruffy at the moment. I think he's probably just trying to hold in there and get himself maybe around in the top 5. It just depends really on these other boats heading out to the south.
I think as we look at it now too, we're starting to get 2 on wide too. Ruffy will really trust his speed in these conditions.
Yeah.
And just try and, he'll sort of just go, hey, if we go around 5th, he's just big on, let's just chip away at them. And then if we can get to it at the end, let's put some pressure on some people.
There we are, right in the back door of the Typhoon there.
It's looking good.
So traditionally with this way, the way the breezes normally have a bit more of a bigger swell rolling through their heads, which normally makes the knees knock a little bit from some of the other boys from other clubs that don't get to have the fun that we have here.
Just did another 10 knots really, don't you?
Yeah.
That really gets them excited.
Yep. Big Wednesday, that Nationals, that was fresh to frightening.
It was a good day.
Nice flat boat there on Typhoon.
Nice trim, they're just trying to squeeze themselves up. Nathan's sailing up and down the backs of these waves. Looks very, very smooth on that boat at the moment.
They've really stepped out on Imey there, haven't they? And then I'll tell you, I can't believe he's up there is the contemporary pool, so maybe it is Saint. And Musto in the background, Hugh Stoddard. Like he's another one that's been out training a lot. And
so I know you, Jimmy, you're out in the water quite a bit, so you just notice a lot of these guys out here midweek, just trying to...
No, just when I'm sitting at the Skiff Club supporting, making sure that these guys are supported well so they have money for prize money.
Does it seem like a few of them are getting out together and doing a bit of training, or is it a bit of, go out there and they're working on their own processes at the moment?
A lot of them are sort of going out by themselves, which, like my blokes go out by themselves. We're not, we had really good speed, we had really good height. Well, we all know that one. We've all had that one. There's no point in getting out by yourself. Like, you got 2 blokes in Baz and Phil Harmer both offering their services because there's obviously a different sales and so forth. But everyone's offering services to help guys, and it's just the Red Pumps guys generally go out as a pairing, which is great. And I know they're trialling all different things, so. Not many others are going out. Musto is fire stopping, and I think that's about it. Ruffy's keeping up his track record of no training.
Nice set on the Typhoon just there.
Very nice set. With Musto coming around the mark second here.
See how these boys go.
Where's the Sail Racing boys? You seen them?
They followed my advice up the first work, so I think they're back in about 21st.
Well, they look famous on the tack, but internationally, it's too early to be calling those things, isn't it?
Yep, there's the Botany Access just going around now.
The 2 brothers, block your ears.
And Gerard Smith, and then Red Pumps Red.
Ruffy comes around the top 5 there.
Yeah.
See if Ruffy can get away here. He's trying to get his chute up and pump in front of the Red Pumps here. No, he's got a wine glass, just broke it out.
So that's the difference between a Spinnaker chute and a conventional chute right there.
Yeah.
Comes the next Red Pumps, just get Rob to come back around. He's left.
King Brothers, fluid right behind them.
It's a race within a race, that one, isn't it? There's a couple of schooners on that each week.
And it already told me, he said whatever happens, we're just going to lamp it on Clint. So
Ooh.
we're going on. Is that tack line just blew off?
That's some good boat maintenance from Phil Harmer there. It's first time back on the boat this year, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Paul,
It looks like he's spent a bit of time down at Harry's Cafe de Wheels.
Clint was guaranteeing a top 3 last night, so we'll just see how he goes.
Talking the big game.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough working these easterlies now, isn't it? Fight your way back.
Yeah. Especially from what we saw up that first leg. Unless we see this breeze start to flick around a bit, it looked like it was very much so get into that left-hand corner.
Imey very deep for their program.
Very deep.
I'm sure Robbie Napper will be nice and calm and collected. Altus and Sutek. Oh, at least look who's coming behind them. Got fire stopping coming behind Sutek, so there we go.
A couple of tacks for the fire stopping there to get around the top mark.
Nothing like coming in on port. There's all the boats heading off down to what we know as the Bommies. They're in Tanya Park in the background. So we're sort of closer to North Head than South Head where they've got the top mark.
Doesn't look like anyone's game to jibe back off again and head back into the side.
No, it's that's the problem with these easterlies, as you're alluding to, Paulie. Like, you know, it basically becomes, after the first lap, becomes a follow the leader because everyone's all
Yeah. I mean,
worked it all out. And there you go. We put the commentator's curse on Cunningham, so there's no extra charge for that. I talked them up, and look where they are. Well done.
The other thing about these easterlies that can happen though is you'll just see somebody come from about 10th through to second just by going on a flyer up one of the works. And, then you'll notice that person, if you're sitting in that 4th or 5th, you go, I'll try it next time, and then you'll go back to 25th. So it's a tough race to sail in. Just see.
Really all boat handling now, isn't it? Just trying to ooch your way down there and get a few metres here and there.
So
particularly downhill.
it's a hard day on the forward hands these ones, isn't it? Trying to get down these waves and so we've got Outback Marine on screen, the Three Sisters.
And not the ones at Katoomba.
Now just flicked over to Southerly.
There's the Southerly. Nice top down.
Lovely shot of the Southerly there. It's nice to finally see some sun in Sydney though, isn't it?
Fantastic. Yeah. Sitting down there at the Skiff Club, having a couple of quiet beers before we came out. It was very
A few
enjoyable.
relaxers.
Yeah.
I was sort of, when we got to Mount, I'm sort of having a look for you because Paulie put me off the scent saying you're at Hugo's. So
We were thinking about it, but then I couldn't get a booking.
He was promising to take me for lunch, but he's been doing that for about 12 months.
so not employee of the month or anything. That's
I've
what's been
never
handed
been
off.
employee of the month. Steve gives it to himself each month.
There's a couple of months left in this year. Look, he's still got time.
All right, we'll make our way down to the bottom mark. So they're on a W5, so windward finish, 5 laps.
We got gate marks at the bottom, don't we, Jimmy?
Yeah, gate marks, and you've got to go in between the gate and around.
Anyone game to say which way they go around these gates?
Round to the right.
The right-hand turn, I reckon.
Sometimes there's that little dig just across the bobby and then come way back. We'll see what happens.
So as you see here, we got the two.
I feel like the Star Racing's. What have we got there?
They're the two red pumps on screen.
You can see the Star Racing coming down them on port shortly. They look like they've come back into it a little bit there.
Yeah, they have. The boat that went furthest left on the course seemed to have caught back up. It's interesting.
Well, that's telling you something, isn't it?
And the red pumps red snuck back in front of the sponsor there on screen.
Jay just going around the front of the mast there.
Very.
There's only enough room in the through the boat there for Greg, I think.
Jared Smith's laid claim to be the first one to go around the front of the mast.
So,
Well, Clint seems to have slipped away there from Ed and had him on around the top mark.
This is going to be tighter than you think here at this bottom mark, boys.
so it looks like here.
Botany access.
Oh,
The Botany would be very happy about that. They're normally
Yeah.
yelling and screaming at each other by now.
yeah. I mean, is this setting it up perfectly for more yelling and screaming pretty soon?
That's right, you get... Oh! He's just prawned it.
Oh no.
Oh.
I feel feel a little bit bad now.
Wow. We're just talking about that yelling and screaming.
See the power of the commentator's curse? It is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
You try and wish it on someone in a race when you're sailing and it never happened.
Well, Nathan,
Nathan not around cleanly at the other mark. And Hugh Stoddard on Musto trying to go upwind there with his spinnaker up.
It's a good save there from the Botany boys, though. They seem to have got around the mark and not dropped back too far. Jared did really well ripping that back in.
yeah, pretty impressive. You would have thought they would have got on the dring.
Ruffy so far the cleanest there with red pumps red
Very
just
good
behind
rounding
them.
from Ruffy there, yeah.
And then the other red pumps are going to the other mark with long-time rival Fluid right below him.
The Fluid's done really well there, haven't they? They've really sort of jumped up to this front pack a little bit.
Is it a beer per leg the way the bet goes between those boys, or is it
No, I think it's just one overall.
one overall? Fair enough.
Sail Racing, where do we get there? Nice rounding from them. Bartley coming in here.
I think the rest of them are all going to go this left-hand mark.
You sort of sit under these chutes for a little bit when you take this right-hand mark, though.
Yeah.
Left-hand mark, but sort of got to cop a bit of grief from everybody coming back down.
There's the employment hero to the right of screen.
Southerly, late drop.
Very late drop.
There's a forward hand of an elder generation for you, Steve, still out there.
Oh, I think he's a few years younger than me.
Do you reckon?
I mean, I'm only 42, so...
We're now international. Just got a message from our page in Israel. So you beauty. See, we've taken this class international now.
Can he give us a tip on which way to go?
He probably will. What do you know from that shot there, Mel? Let us know which way you go. We'll let you know which way Nathan's gone.
And don't say the opposite way to Nathan either.
What have we got still to come here? You
Got the Outback Marine.
the fire stopping. Trying very hard to
Yeah, they're having to get over
make friends.
It's got clear air in the right. They're all just following each up here on the left-hand side, aren't they?
I think it says the guys that went round the left-hand turn at the bottom, it'll just be interesting to see if they fall back into these guys who went headed straight off to the left again like the first one. They seem to be holding up pretty well at the moment. In this shot, you can sort of see the Moonin and Co in the right up there. These guys down the bottom, they're the ones that have gone straight around the left-hand gate.
Okay, and we'll get up with the guys over in the left, I guess, would be the...
Feel the breeze is just going around the right there a little bit more, Paul?
I think it has. And as we saw last time, Steve, when we went further out the course and clicked back, it was sort of coming out of Little Manly up in there. It just seemed to get a little bit of left in it, which saved the guys on the left last time.
Your fit.
So we're just sitting here over the top of the bunch, which went around the right-hand turn at the bottom. Sort of had a little cheeky dig out to the right. So it's Botany, Access and Moonin leading him back across. With red pumps, red hot in pursuit behind them.
Just say good recovery from the Botany, given he put the chute in the dring.
Very good recovery.
Yep, just as you've seen before, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave some comments, whatever you like. We'll do our best to get back to you on the 29th when we're back here at Manly. You've got wealth of knowledge, we can email around a few people as well, and we don't know the answer, so we're not cheating. But yeah, let us know you're liking it, hit the like button, do all the fun stuff. Feel free to engage in the socials on there as well, and you know, to see what we're up to next at Sail Media, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And well, tomorrow we're off to do the 18s. You boys can have a rest. I'll take the boys we take to the 18s.
We'll get the A team on tomorrow, will you, Jimmy?
Well, Bucko's not A, but he's a person. Yes. Great Wart. We love him. And yeah, I'll be joining commentary tomorrow for the 18s with Peter Shipway, the great Pete, who's.
Because it's the model that you've sort of run over there that we're bringing over to Manly, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, we've got a few little exciting additions that we're going to be bringing to Manly before we take them anywhere near the 18s. You know, the board at Manly were kind enough to get us on board this year and do the live streaming, and we're live streaming the Nationals in the 100th year for the club, which is awesome. We're really looking forward to it, and you know, in doing that, like we're trialling some things that we don't want to let people know because if they don't work, we don't want people to be disappointed. But definitely going to have multi-camera, you know, live streaming, and yeah, it'll be a really cool affair.
So we can see here Moonan again, as we sort of alluded to, they're just chipping their way through this fleet. Looks like they're up to second there with Bruce on the red pumps below him. But they're just going behind Nathan. He's about 10, 15 boat lengths ahead. Nathan is pretty much on the Typhoon run the exact same course as last time.
Looks like we're pretty well setting up for that Soldiers course now. They've figured out the lanes, and that's where they're going to stick, it looks like.
It's just going to be some boat handling and... Yeah.
So now Paige just said, now Paige just came back to us just saying, when in doubt, go left. So
Robbie's just come back. He's worked his way through the fleet there. He looks to be in about second now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Red pump's third.
I could see Katuk coming through the heads.
Oh.
Missed the race by that much.
I had a good chat to Katuk during the week. Just tried to suss him out a little bit. See if he could get me some new Weddy pants for next week. I think I need some before I jump on the fire stopping. But
I'm sure Pat from Vycobi can sort you out, mate. You just let us know what you need. We'll chat to our mate Pat. And
that sounds very good to me.
He'll sort you out. You got to look the part.
But Matty was quite happy that he wasn't sailing on the Sutek today with me and Steve-O in commentary. You know, he took over from Steve on the Sutek initially. On the Moonan, sorry. Took over from Steve-O, and Steve-O always had a bit of input into the way that Matty was sailing the boat in those first couple of years.
Nathan's starting to dominate now. What have we got on the screen here?
That's Moonan on screen again there.
Moonan. I mean, the trim on Moonan looks wonderful, doesn't it? Both played as.
There's Red Pumps and Sail Racing just tacking those Kilbourne Towers in the background. So they're sort of up in just off Flagstaff, or traditionally known Canai.
It's Red Pumps.
Okay. Just come around. Just make sure you get stay there.
There's Moonan, and we keep coming around to our left. We'll just pick up Typhoon right there. There's the leaders.
Just building on their lead gradually, aren't they?
It's fairly comfortable now. He's probably got 100 metres on them at the moment at least.
Yeah, but roughly looks like he's got the bit between the teeth on the Moonan.
Yeah, he's really grinding away at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think Nathan will be feeling comfortable right at this moment.
No. He's got a higher line coming in too, Ruffy. Just looks like he's sailing a little higher.
It'll be interesting down this run though. Ruffy, I've just sort of noticed over the last year, he just seems to have a bit of an edge on his downwind speed on a lot of the other guys. So it'll just be interesting to see if he can follow Nathan upwind, because we've still got three downwinds, where he can really just have a crack at him and get close enough to try and put a bit of pressure on him downwind is where I expect to see Ruffy try and get through him. But from past experience, one of the hardest blokes to pass in these 16s when we were sailing him is Nathan. He's very good at putting you in a box, sort of holding you, putting you where you don't want to go, and just sort of doing that little jump out.
Clip with this big bloke was always my nemesis.
I'd always say Lee Napton.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, both.
I remember sailing down to Drummoyne one time, and I was sailing with Paul and Ruffy, and we're in second place behind Lee, and I said, I'm just going to have a little conversation with Lee here and we'll put him up his game, you know. So I said, I'll tap on the boat when we're going to tack. So we go through, and I'm talking to Lee, and he just turns around backwards, still steers the boat, looks at me, having a conversation. I tap on the boat, we tack. He tacks back, just still looking at me, talking to me. we did this 5 times, bang, bang.
He was going forward and pulling the board up as well, wasn't he?
And then on the 6th one, I tacked it. Occasionally you'd have a look around. The 6th one I tacked it, and he kept going. The next time we came back, he was about 60 metres in front of us. So, the little general.
Yep. A little maestro. Mooning around second, about 20 seconds behind the Typhoon, with red pumps, the main red pumps with Bruce Savage
Nice.
around in third.
Nice
Red pumps red around in fourth, team orders.
Yeah, red pumps.
And then Botany Access. So and then look who's coming in from the, they'll come in from the right of screen here in a second. Any second.
Any second.
There they are, Sail Racing.
He's done well to come back.
He's coming through quick there, isn't he?
I just watched him coming uphill before there. He just looked a little low in the water, actually.
Yeah, they overstood that mark too, so yeah, it's a bit of time left on the track. And then Shebang Ant King.
He's done well against his nemesis.
He has.
Very well.
A bit more boat speed uphill, it looks like.
When you pull a bloke out of the cupboard of Brent Dennis's calibre that's been hiding for 2 or 3 years, it doesn't take much for Breno to get back into it.
No, I think he's been trying to keep a low profile, Brent.
He has.
He's stoked now, isn't he? Yeah, we got the shebang there, Anne.
And trying to tidy up some of the spaghetti in the bottom of the boat there.
Brother Jamie King in the bow.
And there's the 2 red pumps charging on down.
I think from the last time down, they're all going to look to try and pick this low line out here as well as they can, because it looked like the little giant back at the end didn't pay too well at the end last time.
There's first, second and third on screen with the Typhoon just jibing, Ruffy covering him off on the Moon and Yachts, and red pumps the big boss's boat, I guess is the best way to describe it. Greg Windus owns both boats and manages both boats, and it's a great little initiative. I think he got the new boat just because he didn't like something, the colour of the red or something. It was a shade out.
He's really come back with a lot of enthusiasm, hasn't he?
Mate, he's come back amazingly.
And a wallet full of cash too, obviously. Yeah, he means business. He obviously very keen. Bruce there as well.
Yeah, and as Jimmy was saying, he's getting both teams are out sailing a lot. They've probably done the most hours on the water out of everyone this year easily already.
And Bruce's constant support on Linny, she'll be around somewhere, no doubt.
Over there on Champagne Rock for sure. There's the rough nuts on screen. G'day to Hamish, his little bloke, if he's watching. He apparently was all upset last night that I wasn't at the club when Ruffy stuck in for a cheeky beer with Hamish. He was all upset that where's Jimmy? So g'day mate if you're watching.
So Ruffy here has just dived inside the Typhoon, hoping to get a puff and just trying to squeeze his way down to him. However, Nathan looks like he's coming in pretty hot to this bottom mark. Yeah. So now on screen,
Employment Hero.
Employment Hero, the Busto.
The Busto, yep.
They've sort of slipped back a tiny bit from their first work heroics. The Typhoon again.
He looks fairly comfortable there, doesn't he?
He does.
Just in the back of Sail Racing there. I think you put a highlight on them for the Nationals. I think they can string it together in favourable conditions. They're showing definitely all year that, or even last year, that they had good speed. So they're
I think I had a chat to the boys about last year because I think they had a bit of a disappointing year last year on the Sail Racing.
yeah, they still were consistent. They didn't get the big, the big ones, but
they were putting in a bit of effort the year before, and I think last year it was kind of a let's take a bit of a step back.
Yeah, right. They're not too far off, really, are they?
No, a bit of time on the water for those boys. I think they'll be really pushing up the front. There's good heads on that boat, and then especially if we get a classic Sydney light easterlies all through the beginning of January, they could be.
Nor'easters, we want 25 knot nor'easters.
Yeah, but we'll sail if it's 25.
and we want three big southeasters with a big rolling swell as well, right?
Definitely need one of those.
Just to ensure a Manly victory.
Although, can we have that before a lay day, I reckon? That's what the boys will be asking for. And it's always nice to see the what's the eyes of the Belmont boys coming down that swell. They had their centenary last Saturday.
Yeah, and congratulations to Belmont 16-footers who had their centenary of sailing at Belmont Regatta last week, and 90-odd skiffs from all different classes attended, including the vintage 18s, which I believe didn't get off the trailer. The beer was too nice at the club.
What do you think?
So Ruffy's made up a little bit of ground down there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was about a 20-second delta at the top, Steve-o, so yeah.
Matty's come back through the head, so the pressure's on. They've got to step up.
So who's in the bow at the moment on the moon?
Be probably Kurt, wouldn't it? Kurt Mitchell.
Kurt. So, I mean, he's done a full season with Ruffy and Gus before. He knows the systems.
Common issue there.
Yeah.
That's Red Pump's red in the background there, that red spinnaker coming down. The boss is in front of him.
It's going to be tight here between Red Pumps and Botany.
I think all the training's certainly paying off for the red pumps.
I think this will be the first time this season, if the results stay the way they are, Steve-o, that Red Pumps has been Red Pumps red.
It's a commentator's curse if I've ever heard one.
Vernon's he's up the track there. You can't see him on camera. Still a few issues.
On screen, Sail Racing just picking off another one.
Shebang going the opposite mark.
Which way would you go now, Paulie? Which mark?
Pretty confident in the left now.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially since Mal's told me to go left too, It's just as we've got Musto coming in here too. Nice conventional drop. Should get this away nice and early before the mark.
I didn't find out who's steering the Employment Hero, so if,
Dolly hasn't told you.
no. Hope Dole's getting better. He's going through the wars, but had some surgery and he's coming. Last time I spoke to him, he says he's good, but I know he puts on a brave face. North sales patch there going around. That'd be fluid.
Putting Berkey under some pressure there.
Oh, he loves it.
Yeah, I think he's finding a little challenging actually up there with these blokes yelling at him. He likes it a little bit more relaxed. He's got a few issues going on there too.
Wouldn't have happened in your day, would it, Es?
Well, no, that's right.
There's employment hero with Imey. Imey's slowly getting back through them, but still a long way to go for them.
No mistakes from Rob.
No, never any mistakes from Rob.
He loves the pressure. Used to tie special knots in there for him every now and then. If he was too quiet up at work, we'd just tie a couple of knots just to make sure he's alive.
Just to get his blood pressure up again, huh?
Well, you couldn't let it drop too much.
You never want a forehead too relaxed, do you?
No.
Just want them on the edge a little bit.
Oh, he was on the edge. There's the Bartley and the Capital Brewing going around. And then what we got here is a Sutek.
Sutek, reset and sweat.
I think they should have reset at the beginning. Gone the other way.
If they throw another cheeky tack halfway up through this work, I think they might be getting a phone call from the sponsor during the week.
Look, I think they've come back into the fleet a little bit.
Steve, they're going to pull out the Kerry Packer. Call Lizzie halfway through a broadcast.
Good bunch of boys.
Great bunch of boys.
Yeah, they're good value.
It's a tough one in this lumpy stuff too, throwing in your sheet hand in there as well. Upwind, just trying to... We noticed on those boats up the front how smooth that they were.
But it's that symmetry that you're trying to find between the sheet hand and the skipper, Paulie, is alluding to. Like it's key critically in a 16-foot skiff. It's not so much important in, like an 18-foot skiff float or things like that. Like there's a lot more working.
It's all about communication, and then when you've done it for long enough, it's not even said. And then it's also the impact I always found from the foreign hand, who just lets you know, gives you a little kick. Hey, you boys, you're reaching around here. Or we're not going through the water quick enough.
Steve just had cards, didn't he? He just held flashcards up at you.
No, Steve just used to elbow me in the ribs.
I think when you got the sheet hand and the skipper working together and they get in that groove, I mean, you're unstoppable then.
Yeah.
You've got the boat speed, you're pushing the boat up, you're running away for speed when you need it. That's really where all the big gains are made.
Yeah. Especially in a soldier's course like this, where if you go around and you drop down below somebody else, you've got to do one of these cheeky tacks out. The tacks out aren't looking too great at the moment, so if you can hold your height with a bit of speed, you're looking real nice.
Look, you're a little bit behind, and you're always trying to find something, do something a little bit different, and find a little bit more, and pull yourself back into it. Inevitably, it normally works against you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just interesting, not on screen, but Sail Racing has gone for a big bolter out to the right.
This could be my cheeky mid-race flyer in the right that comes off.
Well, you've said it now, so you know what's going to happen, Paulie.
I said
There's
that's going to be
Capital Brewing on screen with Bartley Construction in the background.
So, I mean, you're talking about out to the right now. We've done that one with Ruffy before and just kept going out and lifting more and more and more, and you're in all sorts of trouble when you come back. You go, we're about 500 metres behind now.
The Capital Brewing on screen, they've done well here. They're just not quite too strict at the moment, having to bend in a couple of the lulls. And that's where all this, keeping the boat rolling through this little bit of slop is very important.
What do you think? You think it's dropping off a couple of knots here, maybe 1 or 2 knots?
Possibly.
They're still 2 swinging though, aren't they, really? So.
It's just a little bit hard because this left-hand corner looks like the way to go, but it's also where it looks like there's the less breeze. So
Felix DeBario is steering the employment hero, as young Will is off in the US drifting, doing motor racing. Typhoon's bolted there to the left of that shot there from the drone.
Just to the right of the drone up there, the red pumps again. He just went into a big knock and then he's just come back again. Very short though.
It does look like it has stopped a little bit left and faded here though.
Yeah, they just look a little softer.
And there they are, there's Typhoon.
Typhoon just keeping themselves between Moonan and the next mark.
The surprise packet here might be the access up into second or third, I think you'll find, boys.
He's got some boat speed there, doesn't he, Botany?
Yeah.
Could you imagine down the club tonight if they managed to get past all of them with Mono?
I don't think that's going to be happening today, Jimmy.
No.
What, Mano and Jared together?
No. Well,
the Botany gets
Mono is Chris Thomas's father-in-law.
Yeah,
he's
I know.
he's a team. Mono puts himself down as a team principal.
Does he pay the bills?
No. Mate won't shout a beer. He got second in the footy tipping comp and got at the club, and yeah, we apparently had to. We were 5 minutes late, 5 minutes after the club opened, to get a free drink out of him. So there's the Typhoon with. I'll just come forward and try and get the movement in the background.
It is
The boys
soft.
are really crouching now.
Yeah.
In this sloppy stuff, this crouching is where it gets really difficult because the boat loads up going up the face of the waves and it just gets a little bit harder.
The seaway's starting to pick up a little bit, as you can see there, from earlier on.
They're moving again now.
Yep, and there's the distance.
So he's back out to at least, what do you think, at least 100, 150 metres?
Yeah. I think when it goes light and fluky, it probably plays a lot into Nathan's hands. He's very, he's always had out of the boat. You got to remember that's how he won a gold medal, was in light and fluky, variable conditions.
Interesting enough, you look at the bow of his boat there, and the bow's a fair way out.
He's just got the boys back out two string in there, hasn't he? Take that little step.
No, down him.
Normally, I probably would have been saying with a little bit more bow down than that.
You also did have quite a large sheet hand on your boat for quite a while. It's just sitting a little bit lower.
It certainly wasn't our breeze, was it, Paulie, this stuff?
Hey,
We're like a little bit more wind.
We'd definitely be 3 schooners before the race at Wharf Bar before one of these.
Down.
Yeah, they look quick through the water again. That breeze has just kicked back in again.
You see how Nathan's virtually sitting in front of the sheet hand, like.
Well, you just saw the sheet hand just stepping back behind him there, didn't you?
Yeah, they're locked in nicely there, very tight.
Keep your weight together in this lumpy stuff. Keep all of the.
Don't give all the secrets away. We tell them all that after the Nationals, Paulie. So racing, they went for the flyer out to the.
He looks good, doesn't he?
He looking good coming back.
Who said that right wouldn't pay, Paulie?
I said someone will go right once.
As you said, the second time he goes out there on the next lap, we'll see what happens
You
there.
watch Ruffy. Ruffy will have a crack out there next time. Actually, it's a clubby. He'll.
As you, there they are there coming out. That's Sail Racing. He looks like he's in second there.
Yep, I
He's
agree
done
with
very
you.
well.
He's come from about 7th or 8th.
When we talk about boat speed in these kind of conditions, I'd say they're one of the ones that you'd have to watch the most. So Typhoon here, just approaching the ley line. We should see attack out of him in the next 5-10 seconds. They're playing it quite safe there by the looks of it. We've done quite a lot of work on this rig, I think, since Mel and Nathan have been part of the boat.
There was rumours it was always quick. It's just the bloke sailing it.
Had to stay
Just a nut on the end of the tiller.
Had to stay upright, didn't it?
Always just take it a little slower this time. Sell the boat.
Nice down the wave. This is incredible by Sail Racing, right? Just
Yeah, he's literally what?
very gutsy move. But I guess when they're that deep, they had to do something.
Maybe the breeze just had lightened off there for that period of time. A little less weight in the boat too. They're probably moving through the water better. Boys would be very happy with that. You're brimming with confidence now. I'll say, let's get Nathan.
Yeah. I reckon they'll...
Probability?
About 5 to 10%.
Right.
Oh.
I think their best chance at it is if them and Ruffy have a bit of a split and try and one of them might be able to make a game.
It's going to be a bit hard to go right again, isn't it? After you just consolidate now, you'd be imagining unless people start going for flyers. Here's Botany, as you said.
And the old boy.
Ant's doing all right.
Did he have a cheeky dig in the right up that one?
I didn't actually see
No,
that.
he came from over the left.
I think when that breeze
Oh,
when the breeze died out there a little bit, I think it just filled in from the right first.
I just noticed too that Ant's got his turbo jib on as well. So
So the big boy on.
yeah, if it did die out, obviously that helps you.
Just a bit more punch through this chop.
Yep.
Ant's not quite swinging what he was when he was a sheet hand. He's always making plenty of effort to get the weights down.
Yeah, he runs along Manly Beach, swims from Manly to.
Yeah.
You can have that swimming with the
Shall we?
Sharks, a bit like your old man,
Yeah,
Wobbly Sausage, who swims out from Fairlight every day.
Yeah, he takes a dog with him though.
Yeah, the bit of insurance.
Charlie, she looks like a black seal, so he says that they'll always go for that first.
So what do you think about the rib pump? They've just sort of slid back a little bit. So
Yeah, red pumps red. Yep.
maybe that breeze is just say dropped off a bit there and a little bit extra weight and just underperforming as a result.
I just think it's a classic Eastleigh where there's just, you can just be in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's not much you can actually do about it a lot of the time.
10 metres lower than someone
Yeah.
else and you seem to be in a different line of breeze.
Well, let's go down let's just go down one spot. The girls aren't here, are they? Yeah, let's go down with Clancy's.
So we're just on screen watching the moon and jibe there. Very nice, very smooth. They've gone early again on the guys as they did last time. Sort of taking down the centre of that course. It sort of means they jump back into that tide coming out of Middle Harbour first. So you just start to get pushed away from them a little bit earlier.
There's fluid.
Fluid.
Just need a long way back.
See if Phil can clean his tack line this time.
I reckon
Windward.
Ant might, if he gets in that far ahead of Clint, he might run around and give him a lift out of the water.
Just
Looks like the hay's caught the hounds. Here comes trouble.
didn't get square enough for the windward set.
Just see them in the left-hand corner of your screen.
But-
Botany would be very pleased, I think, in that position at the moment.
Yeah, I think they would be too. I mean, they got fifth in the last couple of years, I believe.
Mal just came back to me saying that Nathan always wants to sit in front of the crew and leans on your legs. He goes, it's absolute pain. So maybe that's why Mal agreed to jump into a 16 with him, because there's someone else in between. So Bretto, toughen up the shins, brother.
I said with the forehead head that really like putting a lot of pressure on your front knee for quite a while.
I reckon you just need to harden up, Paulie.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Steve-O was another one. He dealt you down, wouldn't he?
Loves it, doesn't it?
I was like, when Rob got back, I was nice to him for a week because it was like,
Oh, it's just Rob doesn't swing hard enough, does he?
I don't know. We're just looking down the course here. They look low coming in there.
What was that, sorry, Steph?
Just looking at Nathan right down the course. You can't see them on screen at the moment.
I actually think he looks low on that bottom mark, yeah. I think, well, can't see the front edge of the chute rolling at the moment, so.
Oh no, he looks good.
We're just following down here. The Capital Brewing with a nice early jive on the guys in front. We'll probably find the guys that are all jiving together down there are going to sort of interfere with each other, and we'd expect them just to slide down over the top.
well, Lockie's definitely got a job back. So, yeah. You see the difference there, don't you? How spread out they were compared to Nathan.
Better be at 16 not northeaster next week, Jimmy.
Yeah, we got there Capital Brewing, isn't it? Yep.
Brother sister combo that's going through a bit of the wash there.
So the viewers at home, Typhoon going around the bottom mark now, and I reckon they've opened up significantly.
I think they've extended there, haven't they, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that 5% has just dropped down.
What do you reckon?
Oh,
Is it how they wing songs out, Sumo?
can't balance there, mate. I don't think anyone's getting through him. Well, that Ruffy again looks like he's just come back into the sail racing a little bit.
Possibly.
So what have we got to go? We've still got one more up, back down, and into the finish, right? Is that because the start boat's still down here?
Pretty sure it's like, hopefully they do a win-win finish for it.
There was a W. I remember that much, and I'm sure it was 5. So
I think this is the 4th one down. So
sail racing, they're going to split marks here, or
they've just parked up coming into that mark, haven't they?
Yep.
And
No giant drop.
There's the distance.
nice smooth job. Just to the left of the screen, we got the Moonin coming in pretty tight with the Botany. The shebang right behind him. This is going to be a nice close one here. A little bit too hot there from Ruffy, having to do a drop just before the mark.
Also puts him in good stead for up the top too, Polly, for a conventional set. It's all the difference it could be between first and second there.
What's he thinking about though, Jimmy?
You blokes start with him? Yeah, I'll stick up for Ruffy. Ruffy would have thought about it going around the top mark.
He wouldn't have told you about it though. There's a lot going on in his head.
Here comes the red pumps coming in hot just behind.
They seem to have extended away from the red
Yes.
pumps red a little bit there, haven't they?
Yep, and you see Greg pulls
Dragging it in, yeah.
pulls it around, makes it easier for to go down the spinnaker chute hole.
You've got to pull it around.
It's the benefit of that chute, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Well, remember that Nationals Newley and Bretto, Greg Sarant one up in Brisbane, and it was like that made all the difference. The spinnaker chute, and everyone, I think the following year there was about 4 or 5
Well, even on
spinnaker chutes appeared.
even particularly on the sets, isn't it? You can just
Yeah.
leave your sheet hand out there and then basically do it all.
I sailed a couple of years on one with the chute, and it's there's a bit of more dynamics than just the forward hand just ripping it down, because we're going in such a small hole. As Jimmy alluded to, the sheet hand's actually got to help out a little bit by pulling the sheet to the right direction, or else it just clumps up on the drop.
Sheet hands help out a lot all the time, Paulie. You know that. We carry. That's why we're the ones with the big shoulders, because we're carrying them.
Mate, I pulled one rope on my boat.
There's the employment hero with Felix filling in, doing a mighty fine job.
Yeah, they're looking good there, aren't they?
Very late drop.
Gonna hurt a little bit.
And then some quat wash coming through just to really assist them. Probably 2 of our elder statesmen out there today, being Clino and Phil Cook.
On the tiller, I'd say Kenny's
Kenny's got
the award by far.
Yeah, Kenny would have the award for the youngest bloke out here. Good old Kenny Walk. I don't know if he's still playing hockey, but you know, he's a fit bucket for his age, mate.
Yeah.
I definitely couldn't do it. Here's the Sutek and Bartley. They seem to be almost glued together, don't they? And then
Josh needs to use those big arms he's been developing at the gym.
I still think he's recovering from Bathurst, to tell you the truth.
a bit of Bathurst leg.
You know something I don't know, Paulie.
Oh, I saw some photos.
Social media is not very kind when you tell the sponsor one thing and you post others.
Just to see. I think the sponsor should be down there giving him a bit of a rig tune at the moment too.
I think the sponsor should have been invited to Bathurst. It looked like they were in a helicopter.
Now we're talking, Jimmy.
Looked like they were in a helicopter. So
Yeah. Just a bit deep across the foot there, I think, on the C-Tech too. The foot of the mainsail just looks a little bit too draggy down low.
Josh is crouching there. That's Bartley now.
They're dragging the main. Anyway, we'll fill a bit about that afterwards.
So, for the viewers at home, don't forget, if you're enjoying what you're watching, don't forget to subscribe. We think that's the only way now you can make comments, so get along and subscribe, like us, do whatever you want.
Been checking the Facebook. We haven't got too much from Hubble today, which is a little bit disappointing.
Oh, don't poke the bear, whatever you do.
But it's, I thought with Steve-O here, we might get a bit of action from Hubble. He always used to give you a bit of grief around the course, didn't he?
He's always a good rival, Hubble.
I think Hubble's at swimming lessons. It astounded me that
He's always trying to get under your skin, and he was very good at it too.
he was exceptionally good at it.
Excellent tactician. I'm talking about off the water.
Yeah, definitely off the water.
Oh, he can sink you off the water.
So the red pumps here, following the tried and true course. We thought somebody might go for another flyer from this top pack in the right, but it looks like everybody's gone back to the left again.
I think if you start racing, you got to second, you'd be like, right, I'm just staying in the train. Who's the keeper?
I think a second's a keeper too, especially if we get Ed back on board. On the Typhoon, they might have a few big drops coming.
There's Ruffy there. He's back to third at the moment. Be a little unsettled.
I think Ed's getting pretty close to him on the Typhoon, just inside us. But
Probably right there, Paulie.
they're
It's tight.
back to stringing up this work, which is, I mean, Ruffy's wheelhouse. If you just, as I look out the window, just in comparison, the boats in this left corner have gone really soft.
It's certainly got a bit fickle now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Anything good?
I mean, we've even got,
Sail racing on screen. They had two blokes sitting in, or one bloke sitting in just there.
yeah,
Look at them now. Look at them.
Yeah, it looks
Glued to the water.
yeah. It's a bit of a tough one, isn't it?
Looks slow coming back on that port hand tag.
And just off screen, Ruffy's seen what's happened to Sail racing, and he's opted for the early tack.
As we're saying it, Sail Racing gets hit by a bit of a bullet just to get the boat moving again.
I think they might just sort of sail out of the breeze there a little bit and get under a wind shadow off the hill there.
It looks to be compressing down the north head a little bit, and so you've just got to get to that, and then you get the big left hook up towards the top mark.
And Shebang just crossed in front of Moonan, just off screen. We're still on Sail racing.
So Sail Racing's just got two out then too. So very soft over there in the left.
Yeah, well, I noticed that the Typhoon actually tacked out a little bit earlier this time than they had the previous. They've still got everybody locked away behind them.
So we can't see anyone out to the right.
The red pumps were basically, I think, the furthest right.
Right, just now, go back. That's it. Yeah, the shebang.
The Shebang, they've just been chipping their way through this fleet, haven't they?
Into third.
You know, it's... He's so...
Someone obviously didn't have the chat with Brent. Never do a bad job good.
No, that's exactly right.
You know whose speed dial is going to be number one in Ant's phone for the next week or two?
I think he just turns his phone up on Thursdays, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Isn't that standard play?
Ant's pretty good at getting you organised pretty early, though. He's got the calendar out, doesn't he? And he
Yes.
writes everybody's names in it.
Yeah, he was trying to convince me for next weekend, but I'm already booked somewhere else.
Do you want to elaborate, or is it a secret?
Oh, look, I like lunch with my wife.
Oh, sounds like that.
You've got to get your priorities right sometimes. I never would have said that 20 years ago, even 15 years ago. We've missed plenty of wedding to go sailing.
There's one of the Gen 1 ferries in the background. The Gen 2 ones are out of service with rudder or steering issues. Yeah, it's one of the ones that were built here down at Tasmania.
They're certainly compressing here for second place, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight.
It's going to be very tight. Looks like that right's just sort of held out a little bit again, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And there's right in the back of Ant. And Shebang. Is he wearing driving gloves?
Yes.
I think he's the only skipper that
God.
wears gloves, isn't he?
Well,
Nah.
he's got some pretty severe nerve problems or tendon problems in his
Yeah.
hands at the moment, so he's waiting for surgery. So he's doing exceptionally well.
Yeah, right. What, could he not close it up, or
No, he can't close his hand.
so? Would a thicker tiller work, or
I think it's more so pulling the canoe and banger.
a bit like Chris Thomas?
I think he's got to get them cut and rejoined. I did
Wow.
I did that motorbike trip with him, and he couldn't even hold on to the
Handlebars.
handlebars for about 3,000 kilometres.
Unbelievable.
But who came out less injured from that trip, Steve?
Well, that's true.
So
but I ride a motorbike like a foreign hand too.
There's a typhoon around.
so they've
They're
capped
gone.
out up here. As we see the race for second compressor, it's just the rich is getting richer out in the front, aren't they? Just getting to pick their own course and really stretch out.
I'm assuming this is their last run back down. Yeah, Montana's making their way up. As they go past second place.
Very considerate there of Nathan Willman and his team.
Give them a hello.
So what's this? Is there a red boat in the water over there? Is that one of us?
No, I think it's
I think it's
Middle
Red-
Harbour.
Is
No,
it-
it's Middle Harbour, the old...
Sure it's not red pumps?
No, I think it's the old Johnny Oliver boat from Middle
That's,
Harbour.
that's their top mark, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you got red pumps out over just to the left of the screen.
It's going to be a tight race for second, I think.
Yeah, you would think that Ravi's just got a little bit more boat speed downhill if he sails the right course.
Yeah.
What we might do, we might stay on this pack as a whole and follow them for the rest of the race and see if we can pick them to pieces. Boss, what do you think about that, Chits? All right. My first ever. Great idea. Thanks, Chits.
I mean, if you spend enough time on it, sooner or later you're going to get one right, aren't you?
Mate, it's taken forever. 6+ years in the making, that decision.
So what about you, Jimmy? Much nicer being out here watching from the comfort of your boat rather than being out in the water?
Mate, I miss Skiff sailing, but just, Steve-o, the recovery for me is just way too long. Love Manly Skiff Club. This is absolute dream come true to be able to come out here and live stream it for them, and still feel like you're involved. We're the best hindsight sailors in the world on here. We never get a call wrong ever.
I've got 3 wrong today, Jim.
Yeah, we do. Paulie, you don't understand. Chits can go back and edit that out, so we don't ever hear it.
So even if the young boys who you're
We'd be
helping...
about 20th now, wouldn't we, Paulie?
Oh, we'd be dead. But even if the young boys try and get you out of retirement for one race at the end of the year, old Buffer's Day or something like that, Jimmy, do you think you can do it?
I can't with my shoulder, Paulie. I try and grab any higher than...
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about you getting on the sheet, mate.
Mate, you don't want to see me steering a skiff, that's for sure.
Maybe both of you and I should be steering there, Jimmy.
I think that's a great idea. There could be a bit of money on that race, I reckon. Jimmy, I'll back you in.
I'll have to. My bag's getting the little general then to give me some pointers.
Might have to get Mel over to get in the front for you.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
That'd be a good idea.
Book that date in, Mel. Coming downhill with Moonin and Shebang. So this is third and fourth on the racetrack.
So the Shebang's really trying to soak away here and really, you know, get a bit of gauge down on Ruffy, which is making him just have to sail a little bit lower than he expects.
Ruffy's very conscious of that too, though, isn't he? He's been trying to soak away.
And now, just to the right of screen, you can't see it off here, but the sail racing's come back, which has triggered Ruffy's jibe. He's jibing into quite a nice line of pressure above him. Sort of soaking down over the top at the moment.
You would think Ant's going to go deep here and
I reckon Ant's going to get real hot here and go for gold.
keep away from the other two.
They just look like they're just starting to lift up. Their angle into Midland's just a little bit different, isn't it?
Significantly, yes.
And I mean,
Yeah, breeze has gone a lot more left, hasn't it?
I think it's softened a tiny bit and just gone a little bit further left.
Ant was the furthest,
Slow jibe.
deepest one.
And then coming through for a few of these people about a minute back from here are going to have the ferry cut the course in half. So hopefully they've got their
Mighty
heads out
Manly
of the boat.
Ferry. Just another one of the lovely obstacles the blokes from Belmont love, Steve, eh?
And if we just have a look on screen, the sail racing just got that puff and got to duck back away, which
And there goes Contemporary Pools still in the race, heading up.
Yeah, you'd certainly be looking for some puffs now, wouldn't you? Trying to work the breeze a little bit. But it's definitely gone softer.
yeah.
I feel it's got more left though, so yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
interesting down the bottom who does what. There's Botany Access. They've had a little go at leading the race, and then
They've done well to hang in there, you know. They had that tough mark round to get the bottom, which we thought we might see an explosion.
yep. It's
Stayed calm. I think Jared's the cooling influence on that boat sometimes with the brothers, isn't he?
I don't no comment
Calming.
regarding that.
Calming influence.
Oh, I was actually shocked by that comment myself too.
It's very much an animated three crew. And there's Typhoon way off in the distance there, heading to the bottom turn marks for what we believe is the last time. How long we've been racing for? About right.
Getting close to.
I did see the start boat heading up the top there.
We're aiming for 90-minute races here, aren't we, Jimmy, for these one race days?
For the long course, I think it was 90 minutes.
Yeah. So I think we should be coming up to that. You know, a 12-minute work up here. We should be almost bang on that. So you can just see if we're looking through the sail racing here that the Mooners just managed to catch a few little puffs to get their bow forward on them. If they can get a nice puff to come back here, I think they're both going to be very, very close to each other. Which will make it very interesting at the bottom to see if the one behind will follow through back to that left-hand side, or there'll be a split, which could cause Nathan some headaches.
Sail racing. Are you back to wheel one. Typhoon.
Yeah, that breeze has definitely died. They're just starting to look a little bit more sticky through their manoeuvres, aren't they? It's just not popping
Tell you what,
out
the
of
Boyle
his...
family would be stoked, wouldn't they? Colin and Russell Boyle, like
Yeah,
long time supporters, sponsors, sailors of 16-foot skiffs, always under the Typhoon banner. And to see the Typhoon still sailing, and
Do you think they'll be disappointed they don't have the shirts on?
mate, those shirts were they were institutional, weren't they? The Mighty Typhoon shirts, but unfortunately the CA Boyle company is no longer. So I'm sure Ed's got a wardrobe full of shirts.
I know Baz still does.
Yeah, Baz is. I think Baz has got one of every colour.
So both of these boats here just trying to soak down to this mark. I think Sail Racing's got
It's a-
no hope.
oh,
but
no hope.
No,
Ruffy's
Ruffy should just heat it up there, shouldn't
he should. I think
it's got him boxed in there.
he? You can't.
Ruffy
can't
should
square
sail
a
him
run.
out to lay and make him follow him in.
Yeah.
Sail Racing's in a bit of trouble, aren't they?
Sail Racing should try and stop and just take its turn here.
I don't even think Ruffy's going to struggle to get there.
But he's going to get him on starboard here, Steve.
There he goes, just came away.
Oh, a bit more action.
Wow.
Wow, well done by the Sail Racing there. Mate, trying not to think about some rules.
There's
Oh,
trouble.
and hit the mark on Sail Racing, so they can go around again.
Oh, I think there's a few people in the water here.
Mast on mast, just avoided that.
Oh,
Oh,
They're
oh,
going to save that.
Gus has got the clamp on it. Oh no,
He's trapped by
Gus fell out. Matty Stenner's going
He
to
gets
love
the turns.
watching that.
With Sail Racing.
yep. Meanwhile, Shebang went around the other mark in the
Good
background
boys.
and bolted.
Too much trouble there, Anne said. I'm going the other way.
I think Brent's going to have to put the handbrake on soon.
So he doesn't, his phone doesn't ring Monday.
Oh yeah, or buy a new phone.
There's Sail Racing back into it.
Real battle between the red pumps here too, isn't there?
Yeah, Red Pump Shreds really come back into them, haven't they?
How far is Ant going to take that way, wouldn't you? You'd flop and go with them, wouldn't you?
Very shortly.
Ant's going for gold. So both the red pumps here too, following each other around, which I find a interesting choice.
Greg might have issued team orders. All right, let's get back to this battle for second. It is
I think
heating up.
the big two winners out of that manoeuvre was the
Botany
little
and
issue, Botany and Shebang.
big gain for
I
them.
think we're going to see Ruffy, who's the forward. Oh well, yeah. He's going to try and put a squeeze on all of them. He's just going to go into a real high groove here, so he can just try and drop them all down into his line.
It'll be interesting to see how Ant comes out of this too once we get on place towards Flagstaff.
You definitely got the right guy on the sheet to do it there
With Gus.
with Gussie Williams.
Yeah, Gus is good. Gus is pretty vocal on the boat too. You know, he's always calling for his height and his pace when he wants it, and he's sort of very much so like the short term up the course. How do we get to the next gust? How do we do this? When I know the way they work, and then they've got the forward hand feeding information back to Ruffy about big picture.
I've sailed with those guys a couple of times over the last couple of years, and I don't think I've heard any better communication. He's excellent, actually, Gus.
Yeah, he is.
Feeding back to Ruffy.
And especially in this sloppy stuff, it's almost the most important, isn't it? You know, when you're in a bit of flat water, you can just lock and load. In this, every little wave can just
Trying
make
to
a
catch
big
waves.
dip.
Look at
Yeah, you can feel it under your feet. All these things which the skipper just doesn't quite get.
There's Typhoon. Not much pressure there,
He's going soft.
but in saying that, he's got the lead, and everyone else is following him in. The only one who's slightly different is the Sutek and the red pumps out the other side. They're right over near Middlehead still, so
It does look like just before on Typhoon, there is another one filling out of the bay.
Moon
just
and
on the other
tacking.
side.
obviously seen what happened with Typhoon and opted to sail back in the, stay with the pressure as much as they can.
He's not on camera, but Nathan up above him, he's just sailed into a hole. He's probably got the breeze about 100 away.
I'll just duck up and try and give you the gauge of from where the Typhoon is back to the second place battle.
It's, the Typhoon is really...
They're just partially swinging one at the moment, the Typhoon. Big hole. Moon and swinging maybe two down the track there.
Just.
just so
very high wires down there.
they're coming back into it slowly.
You see Nathan sitting in the boat trying to promote the guys to get out here on the Typhoon, out on wire. And there you go. Nathan will be forever just playing with the bang, the Cunos, anything else that he can play with. Like he came from the 470s where they got strings for strings, and I think he...
Tweakers on tweakers.
Yeah, no, that's 505s.
Oh, sorry.
We used to have tweakers.
Showing your age again,
Oh, I
Steve.
know.
well before Paulie was around.
We used to have hydraulics too.
Yeah, they were fun. Yeah, my first 16 had hydraulics, and I think every day just one would break, or it would just be the tiniest little
Was
nick.
that back with Ben in the...
No, it was with Mark Graham and Evan Beebe. Copy. Yeah, I didn't have the pleasure of sailing with Benny until...
Benny and Rob.
Well, yeah, I got robbed. That was easy when Benny put the hat in the ring and the hat on the rack, and I was like, "Come on, Robbie, come over here," and this is what we promised him. And so the only thing Nathan's got to remember here is he's got to finish between the blue mark this week and the.
Did he get it wrong?
Yeah, in the first clubby, he went to the wrong finish line. So
Did they get finished still?
no, they scored a DNF
For who?
for Typhoon.
Really?
So Nathan's been reminded several times from several people, mainly me. Every time I see him, it's like, where have we got to finish? He's been copping it on the Typhoon group chat. But
It's good over the top of that yacht there.
yeah,
He's just keeping him right where he wants him, though, isn't he? He's sort of protecting the left still a little bit, but letting those guys just extend right as he needs to.
Off into the distance, you can see that's the red pumps. They've gone for a flyer.
It's actually not looking too bad, is it?
No, but it's tough to say. Who's
And Shebang is off screen, well off screen, but we don't see it there. They went the furthest right, now they've gone the furthest left.
yeah, they're right out the back of the boat from us. We
I
just
think
track
Nathan looks fairly confident there. It's just a game of patience really at the moment, isn't it? Just,
Oh, I think he'd be pretty happy. It looks like he's going to sail them all out to the lay and make them follow him in.
Well, that's a good redemption for the Typhoon without putting the commentator's curse on between here and the finish line. But after the mishap in the last race of going the wrong side of the finish line, and it was a bit of confusion because, like, what it's drawn like on our maps, they go and put a blue mark in, and you got to finish between the blue mark and the finish boat.
But there's also the 13 sometimes have a start mark in there as well.
Yeah,
for
but
a shorter
they
start
still
line.
had the start mark from
Yeah,
the
I
16s
remember.
laid out. They were just so short staffed with boats down everywhere, and we're down one rescue boat at the moment, a new one on the way, and they just went, well, we'll just leave it. It's not required. And then Nathan went, no worries, we'll keep the spinnaker on and power on through the wrong side of the line.
Good bloke, mate.
it just seems there's more pressure out here on the right at the moment, isn't there?
I actually thought it was just filling it in the left hard before.
I can't turn my neck that far.
Which is
A Typhoon on a nice set of waves, not on screen, we're on the Moonin there. Moonin have got the same set of waves, just about on them there, and Gussie will get them on there, no worries.
it just looks like there's a bit of a swell underneath them, isn't there, with a bit of a wave, cross wave coming across the bow.
Yep.
Very tricky. If you get it right, you can make some big gains.
Yeah.
You get it wrong, you sort of feel like you're not moving for quite a little bit of a period.
Back to that relationship between the sheet hand and the skipper again, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the forward hand to move their weight forward and back, and
Forward hand constantly moving.
cracking a bit of jib to them, all little things on it. What else do you do up there? Is that it?
That's about it, really.
Right.
You can play the board, can't you,
Look
Steve,
around.
sometimes?
Tell them where they've made all their mistakes. Just a bit of board, that's right.
Bit of board. Used to love playing the board a little bit. Don't tell them too much though, Steve.
You probably want a bit more board down today.
Yeah.
A bit more swell, just washing out the boats, washing out from underneath there. Sacrifice a little bit of speed for some stability.
Yeah. So as we sort of expected here, the boats that were just in front just managed to push these other boats all the way out to the lay. You know, there's still a bit of work on the Moonin and Sail Racing, but the Typhoon's done very well and sort of put everybody where he wants them. As
Still
Nathan
close for
said.
that third spot in that pack.
How did Shebang's flyer go? Well, of course, from the first 3 legs, but Typhoon on screen, about 50 metres to the finish. May have to do one short tack, but may squeeze their way through to the pin.
I think they'll still do attack here. So Craig, if you're watching, get the beers ready in about 15 minutes. I think they'll be back at the club.
So here we go.
No, they're going straight through. 2, 1. They're there. Well done, Typhoon.
Well done. Should have cleaned set of heels after that first lap, didn't they? A little bit of a what?
Not bad for that Otto Henry. Just first time in a 16. This is how it's done. See you later. Back off to my...
Nathan's really been finding his form in the 16s the last couple of years, hasn't he?
Yeah, but it's great to have him around, and he's around during the week. And you know, him and Mal have both put their hands up to help out the juniors and whatever when they're around and available. So you know, it's great to have. You know, Mal was a junior of our club, won Flying 11 Nationals and all that. You know, it's great to see them back in the club now, finally, after everything. But here's the battle for second and third. And I think the way we're sort of seeing it is the way it's going to end up. You tend to agree, wouldn't you?
I think Ruffy will be very happy in this situation, given that he rolled back a little bit, didn't he? Let them through.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that red pump's in the background of this shot is red pump's red, and red pumps went on a flyer right out to the left.
Well, we call it a flyer, but it was the one track that we were calling for the first two legs.
It's the typical easterly again, isn't it?
So there's Moonin, 2, 1, he's across. Well done, boys.
Sail Racing. I think he'll be reasonably pleased too, given he was buried there for such a period of time.
He really worked his way back through. I mean, you'd have a little bit of disappointment that you got through to second, but I think
Botany Access,
very
fourth.
And then the red pumps and the shebang having a go at each other.
Yeah, a little battle coming up here
Little
between
battle
Red
here.
and Shebang.
I mean, this red pump's red with a young skipper on board and a new team. Continue to impress.
Looks like it. Red Pumps has just rolled over the top of the shebang there.
Yep, so it'll be red pumps red will be next. And you know, most importantly, if this is the way it finishes, red pumps red's put a boat between them and red pumps. So the young bloke's still got the bragging rights.
It's a little bit tight when he went over the top of the shebang just then, no?
Well done.
Might have to get worked out in the bar afterwards.
Oh, and I'll let him off, I'm sure.
For a few rums.
Well done, Brent Dennis, for jumping in. G'day, Claire. The next boat through the line will be red pumps. I think the mood will be pretty sombre on there all of a sudden after
Yeah, I'd say that's the that'll be where the most disappointment is for the day.
Yep. Other than
Masto looking for a new, sorry, Sutek looking for a new sponsor.
Oh, are they up there sailing, are they?
yeah, Sutek, fire stopping, they're both out here somewhere.
I can see
We're going to
that.
have to send out the search and rescue shortly.
Deploy the nav lights. There's the red pumps, the big boss across the line. Next across the line is going to be Employment Hero. That's quite a remarkable job by young Felix. He got back through the fleet pretty well.
You've done very well.
Employment Hero, another new sponsor, relatively new sponsor to the club. They've got a 13 and a 16 Stevo, so quite a good little find there.
Very nice for that sort of support, isn't it?
Yep. And next across the line will be, more than likely, will be Musto.
They started off so well, the Musto. They were right up the front there, and then, as we sort of alluded to, these are some of the trickiest conditions to sail this boat. And I think just time on the water, those guys will be able to sort of stay up towards more the front.
Yeah, and Hughes, no slouch of a sailor like in his own right. And then just next across the line after Musto will be the Fluid.
The breeze shifts it again.
Hard though. It's almost in the northeast there.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it's gone right round to the left.
There's 10th across the line being Fluid.
Capital Brewing just to the left of the screen.
And these are days that I hate. Capital Brewing used to be the IME,
Right.
just to make Robbie's day even better.
That's punishing, isn't it?
So Capital Brewing is next across the line, followed by IME. Robbie will be nice and quiet about that one. No, he'll be fine. I've heard that he's calmed down. He's mellowed out. Might have been me that was rallying him up.
Who was steering the Army today?
I believe it is young Dan Links.
Right.
So he's a young, quite a young bloke, isn't he, Ginny?
Yeah, yep. Like he's but he little gun in the 29ers and
Yeah.
so forth, and then
You sure
it's great.
You sure it's not Sarah Lee steering?
Might even be Sarah Lee.
Nah.
No, that's a guy. Let's get in there. Let's have a look.
I know she said it up at Botany, up at Belmont, I think.
How
last
long was
week.
for you, Dan? You're in the lookalike competition with Sarah Lee. Paul's just put you in it.
Take up to the mark.
Yep. Next to probably finish will be Altus Consulting.
Fortunately, the guys that all went out to the right, they're coming straight back again.
It's very much so. You know, the guys who first went up this work went round the bottom, who was getting that right-hand corner, and now looks like the left's paid off big time.
Yeah, it's flicking around significantly.
It's a classic easily.
Painful.
Yeah. I better write Alex a message next week if it's an easterly forecast. He better start looking.
It'd be nice for people to do a bit of commentating on you anyway, won't it?
No, I'm not sailing a club chance, mate. I've asked Ruffy if he can have me out for one of the ones in a 16 knot nor'easter, around February.
Do you know how much help you need, Paul? A bloke in Israel has told me that was Daniel Links on the IME, and he's 17 years of age. So there you go.
I thought he was young.
So next across the line after Mighty Aldous will be Bartley Constructions. And it's going to be close between Southerly and I found your Sutek finally, Steve.
He's back.
He's back. There's Bartley finishing.
Bartley through.
Yep. Bartley are another one with a 16 and a 13, so very good.
It's a new team on the Bartley 16 this year, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So
So how many boats do we have in the course today?
Lots.
Lots.
I would have had to take my shoes off or borrowed your toes to keep counting, Steve.
It's a good fleet.
So next across the line, Subley, our Commodore. Matt Trigglane with Timmy Lees and Polehead. And then the Sutec will be next. Then after that will be Fireball, and I don't think past that they'll be bothering the officials. So what we might do, we might say farewell from here on Sydney Harbour, right between the heads on a beautiful sunny day here in Sydney. We look forward to seeing you all again next time on the 29th. Be great to tune in. Tell your mates, tell everyone, tune in. We'd love to see you about, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Notifications will come your way about when we're next live for certain things, and don't forget to feel free to tune in tomorrow. Sar Media's covering the 18s. You can watch it on the same channels you're watching here today. And I'd like to thank Paulie. You've done a great job again, brother.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Loving having you on board. Big S. Thank you so much, brother. It's good to be back on a boat, and my legs are fine, so these are fine. So it's good to have you on board, mate. Thanks so much for coming and helping out.
Thank you, mate. It's been lovely out here. Beautiful sunny day. Good company.
Yep.
Thanks, boys.
And thanks to the crew back here, Chits, Rob. Where's my Superman, Dylan? There he is down the back, the drone. So all the drone shots have come from Dylan down the back, and thank you. So see you again on the 29th, and go Manly.
Go Manly.